The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good afternoon, folks, and welcome to this Business Elevation webinar. First of all, let me say how excited I am and appreciative that you are giving up your time to join me here. From me to you, I just fully appreciate your time. I know what it's like. Everybody's busy. There's lots of things to do, and you've decided to give up your time to join me. So appreciate that for sure. So just to give you the heads up of how this bit of time together is going to work, I'm basically just going to give a 30,000-foot view of, why I do what I do, and where the Business Elevation program fits into that. And then we're going to pull it apart and look at the kind of results you can expect. And then at the end, we will have a time for questions. Now, the way we're going to do questions is in the control panel that you can see attached to the side of your screen. There will be a section that says questions, and you are able to write in there, and I will see it. So that's how that's going to go. But I'll take as many questions as you guys have got, but I will do them towards the end of this webinar. So for those of you who are already in my world, looking through the list here, some of you guys are already clients of ours and you have jumped on because you are eager beavers. I want to say to you guys, appreciate you. And I do wonder why you would give up 30 minutes talking to me again and not spending 30 minutes going to do something off your to-do list. So looking through the list, if you are already in my world, or if you're in my year 2 or my year 3, like some of you are, stop wasting time, right, by watching webinars. Go back and tick something off your to-do list. I reckon that's the best use of your time. All right, so let's talk. Let's talk about this. So, what is business elevation? Well, I believe it's the most hands-on, practical, results-based business coaching program, meaning that I actually have a vested interest in making sure you succeed. I actually will be teaching you step by step, click by click, strategy by strategy, practically how to do the business building stuff that you need in 2019. And everything we teach is about driving that top line revenue and bottom line profit, right? That's the starting point for us in this program. It's all about the things that you need to be doing to driving top line revenue and then squeezing profit out so that you've got a more profitable business than you had before. And we do that by combining the live intensives, online webinars, personal coaching calls, and strong accountability. So, I think what we've been able to create is a really nice mix of, personal time. So face time where me and the team can invest in you and give you the strategy you need and work out how to make the training fit for your business, right? Because we'll have people in the program who are retail. We'll have people in the program who are product-based. We'll have people who are service-based, and we'll have some e-commerce. And so what I'm going to be teaching is relevant to every single one of you. And then there's enough face time to be able to wrestle with topics if need be to make them relative to your business model. So we've got those live intensives. The online webinars are great. The online webinars will allow me to bring in a whole bunch of other knowledge that you wouldn't usually have access to. For example, I'll grab an accountant, and one of the webinars will be on structuring and the do's and don'ts and the benefits of all the different entities that you could run. I'll grab a on and we'll talk about, maybe like leasing, franchising, licensing, a lot of that high level stuff. I'll bring on people in recruitment. I'll bring on, people in all these different spheres that can just come and we can distill their juice down and we can get them on a webinar and I can interview them and get their information out for you. So that'll be super cool, as well as me teaching and my team teaching. We're just going to isolate issues or areas of business that you need and just pour those into you. And then you get your quarterly calls where my team from the office are going to call you and hold you really, really accountable. And that's going to be cool. And then the strong accountability comes from two things, right? We've got our 90-day plans that you're going to complete and submit. And we've got our weekly accountability inside our secret Facebook group. So we all know what you are up to. So that's super cool. So that's kind of like the reason why I say it's the most hands-on, practical, results-based, because we found this nice balance between, teaching a lot of this from behind a computer, but giving you a lot of face time, a lot of personal interaction, and so forth. And so it's a really nice mix. And I don't know what the final number is now, but something like 600 people have been through this program before you, and so over that time, not only has the program become an awful lot better over that time, but it's given us, we get to see the stuff that's really popping for our clients and make sure we double down on the stuff that really, really works. So that's a little bit about like a 30,000 foot view of the program and how it works. Why am I doing it? I think that would be good for you to know, what's my why? What's my motivation? Why would I choose to do this with my life and not something else? I do other things. I do a lot of some one-on-one coaching with some big businesses, and that's good fun. We have our own property company. We have our own investment arm, and we have other businesses that we're involved in. So, one of the things I think to seriously consider as the industry of business coaching has evolved, I think one of the mistakes would be looking at a coach who's not building a business outside of their coaching business, right? I think that's just something to consider in terms of taking on a business coach, because any business coach who's not building a legitimate business outside of their business coaching business, to me, is not putting into practice what they teach in the marketplace that they are teaching in. So for me, I'm building businesses externally to Business Greenhouse, which gives me the tools and the feedback and the results to know what works, to then bring it over into Business Greenhouse to teach it to my clients, make sure they're getting the best stuff. So I think that's important. But, ultimately, for me, if you've been to the summit, you'll know this. If you haven't been to the summit, maybe you won't. But I'm a big believer that right now, if we're going to have any chance of changing culture in Australia, then we need profitable kingdom businesses. We need businesses that make more money than they need so that they can use some of that money and distribute it into good, godly causes, right? We need people who the Lord can say, go and fund this, and there are businesses that can go and fund it. Whether that be churches, whether that be para groups, whatever it is that you want to fund, that's between you and the Lord. But right now, we need businesses that are both influential in the world around them, so they're actually having a say and making an impact in their communities. And we need them to be profitable so they can start to fund strategic projects. And so that's my big why. That's what gets me out of bed every single morning, right? I want to be able to get to the end of my life and know that we were able to change culture in Australia because we were able to train and raise up and release thousands of kingdom businesses that went and funded strategic projects, and people got saved all over the place, and we got to influence communities and governments and things like that. That's what gets me up in the morning. And you get to play a small part in that, right? Because if you join our program, I get to invest in you, whether that's 1, 2, 3 years, that will play itself out. I get to invest in you and, build your business, and then, you go and listen to the Lord on where to put the money, and it will be beneficial to the kingdom. And that just gets me buzzed, right? That you and I can collaborate in that way, and I can give you what you want, and in return, by default, you are helping me achieve my assignment here on earth. So that's like the big picture of my why and why I'm doing all of this, and hopefully that clears up maybe some of the questions that are going on inside your head around why I would do that. The structure of the program, like what are you going to learn here? I think this is important because I've read many reports over the years about, what's the reason businesses fail. And we know that businesses generally have a very high failure rate. 80% don't make year 2. So 80% of businesses that start don't get to 2 years. Interestingly, another stat that's quite startling is only 4% of businesses that ever start get to $1 million in revenue. Only 4% of businesses that ever start get to $1 million in revenue. And so the reason for that, and there have been reports to say the number one reason businesses fail is they're underfunded or they can't get team and talent and so forth. The number one reason why businesses fail is because of lack of knowledge, right? It's not because there's no good ideas. It's not because there's no lack of capital, right? The only reason why somebody would hit a stumbling block and stop them building their business is they don't have enough knowledge to be able to get over that stumbling block. The thing you need right now to make your business smoother, to make your business grow faster, is you need more knowledge, and then you need accountability to execute on that knowledge to make sure you're implementing it in your business, okay? And that's what we do. We bring to the table, like you are far more gifted at your products and services than I ever will be. But I know how to grow a business, and that's what makes it a good partnership, right? You know your products and services. I know business. So when I bring my knowledge to the table and you take that knowledge and you include it into your knowledge of products and services, you will be the preeminent company in your industry, in your area. So these are the areas that you and I are going to focus on over the 12 months. So let's start with marketing strategies. Most businesses right now are suffering because they don't have enough leads. Okay, this is not everybody. Some of you right now, you've got plenty of leads. You need other stuff, which is fine. Because when you put in other stuff, you're going to need more leads at some point. So you're going to have to learn how to do marketing. And ultimately, I'm going to be teaching you how to have 10 marketing strategies running concurrently. So I'm going to take you through. In fact, one of our live intensives is nothing but the 10 or 11 marketing strategies in great detail. So that's all we do for the whole time. So I'll take you through how to set up Google AdWords and get them to work, right? Click by click. I'll take you through how to do Facebook ads, and I'll probably bring in somebody for that can show you how to do click by click. Because you need the details of what happens if you click this button or this button, right? That's the level of information you need to be able to do this stuff well, right? You click the wrong button setting up an ad. You could write the best ad, right? You could have the slickest landing page. You could make one small mistake in setting up these campaigns, and you'll burn lots of money and get no results. That's why you need the information. So I'll teach you how to do online and offline, right? We'll teach you how to set up strategic alliances so that you are preeminent in your town. We'll teach you how to do, video production. We'll teach you how to do wow boxes and direct mail. We'll teach you how to do cold calling, bold calling, email marketing, networking. I'll teach you all of that so that you can make sure that you've got so many leads coming in your business that is not keeping you awake at night. Then we'll get to systemizing, right? You need to be able to have a business that is systemized because it means that you are more efficient in your daily operation, which means more profitable. It also means that you can get your time back. It also means that you don't have to be there all of the time. Okay, systemizing is super important. It saves you stress, time, energy, and mistakes. Okay, so we need to systemize the business, and I'll show you how to do that. Video systems, paper-based systems, photo systems, all the gear you need, the camera you can buy, the software you can use, detail by detail by detail, everything you need to execute on that. We'll do some sales training, right? Because all the marketing in the world, if we don't convert it into a customer, falls over. And if I be honest, Christians are typically quite bad at sales, generally. So we need to fix that and address that. So we spend a lot of time looking at your sales process, your sales scripts, your sales strategies, and what we can do to actually invest in the relationship, build rapport, and massively increase our conversion rate. Here's a little aside for you, which is interesting. There are 5 primary drivers in business, and I'm going to be teaching you those. There's 5 primary drivers. One of them is conversion rate. And that, what's really interesting about conversion rate is that it is probably one of the greatest levers in business to create a better business. One of the greatest levers is conversion rate. And it's no money to fix. It's just a strategy, a measurement, and a thought process, and a structure that gets you to change that. Customer service is interesting because if we can create your business and your company to be the preeminent one, meaning it stands out above the standards and norms of your industry, then you are going to get more customers, come back more often, and tell more friends, right? Which is only good for the bottom line. And so, but the way I'm going to be teaching you customer service is actually structured. We actually three times in your entire customer journey, we actually nominate 3 separate stages, and you put wow moments structured into them, And what that does is we're actually structuring your business so that your customers go, wow, I don't get this when I shop down the road with somebody else. And we structure them so that it's not even amazing. We just create a system that makes your customers think, wow, this place is great. And we repeat that every time. And that gives them the ammunition to go and tell more people and come back more often. You need to understand financial wisdom. You know, what you've probably been taught around money from a kingdom perspective is probably incorrect. And this is a big thing for me because you and I, anointed for business, need to be the people that go and lead in this area of wealth, right? If we're going to get our financial advice from somebody that's anointed to play in a different area, you know, insert a pastor. A pastor's not called to the marketplace. So their anointing is not going to be strongest there. Ours is. We need to be the people that understand financial wisdom. We need to be the people that understand kingdom wealth. And having been through the journey myself, you know, just as a little, just a little nugget here, there are 3 stages to the wealth journey as a kingdom entrepreneur. First one is subsistence. The second one is when you've got more than enough, and the third one is assignment. And most people, I reckon 90% of Christians, are living in subsistence, hand to mouth, week by week, and it's a real shame. And that's only because we don't have full revelation of finances from a kingdom perspective. So you need to be able to understand that. You know, your personal development is interesting because the business can only grow to the size that you do, which means that if I want a bigger business, I've got to get a bigger you, right? And success in business first happens between the ears before it ever happens in the marketplace. And so we're going to be stretching you, growing you, challenging you in many areas. And by the end of our year together, you will be able to look back and you won't notice yourself in the mirror. You'll have heaps of fresh revelation. You'll know your word more. You'll know business more, and you'll get the results that you've been looking for. And you'll start to see at the end of the year that you can have the business of, that you have been dreaming of. You may not have it by the end of 1 year. That bit I'm not going to promise. But by the end of 1 year, you'll be able to see that you can have it. You'll be on that journey towards having that business, and that's super powerful. And then you need to understand networking, but networking not necessarily as a marketing strategy. But here's an interesting thing that happens when business owners get in a room together. The smart ones go about, showing the world that they're, kind and caring and gifted. And then what happens is people in the room will come and do business with you. And so many of you guys that join me for this year, you will make more money from the people in the room than you will pay me for the program, right? I don't want you to this is not your reason for joining, because if it is, it'll be too obvious and we'll have to kick you out because it'll be awkward. But just know that, let me give you for example. In our last training that we had in February with our clients, everyone flew in for the 3 days. And on the last day, Scott was sitting alongside a guy called Richard. And Scott was saying to Richard, that they hadn't really spent too much time together over the year, so they were kind of catching up and building a friendship at the last training. And Richard says to Scott, what do you do? And he says, da, 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 and says, well, how can I help you? And Scott goes, I really need to meet real estates with a rent roll. And Richard goes, you wouldn't believe it, but my stepdad has got the largest real estate business, in this area. And it was near him. And he makes one email introduction. Scott goes in, signs up the largest client that he had to date in his business. That's the stuff that goes on in our room, right? It's the attorney that people go and seek out. It's the accountant that goes and seek out. You would be surprised. You might think, that's okay. I live in a regional area. You'd be surprised how many people in the room know somebody that can help you in your regional area, right? It's amazing that takes place. And the last one up there is team building around the outside. And you won't build a great business unless you learn how to put team on, and if you follow old school business practices in terms of your leadership, you will lose in 2019. The whole culture's changed. You need to learn what is a winning culture and how do you keep one after you've set it. You need to learn how to recruit A-grade people only and get rid of the rest. And then you need to know how to keep them, whether they're millennials, whether they're baby boomers, whether they're Gen X. They're all going to need a different leadership style. And if you only have one leadership style, you will burn most of your team, okay? So you need to be able to learn how to get this talent pool to share your vision, to work hard, And it comes down to your process. Most people's process for recruiting is at best woeful. Okay. So I'm going to take you through my process on how to attract and keep the best talent. So all of those outside areas, you could get those anywhere probably. All right. So, I mean, I think we probably bring a more practical edge to this, but you could get business training anywhere. But I guess the locking nut for us that makes it really, really attractive is the spiritual training. All right. What we bring to the table that is different to nearly everybody else that's out there is this spiritual element. You need to understand the reason why you're in business. You need to understand, like at the very base level, you need what we call your validation scripture. You need a scripture that validates why you're in business, okay? And we'll help you find that. You need to understand the role of business. You need to understand how to walk in your godly identity as you're going about building your business. You need to understand how to walk in authority and stand the enemy down and do spiritual warfare as an act every single day, right? There's really no point in doing marketing if you are not doing spiritual warfare. There's very little point, right, understanding finances from a godly perspective if you're not warfaring over that area. There's very little point learning sales training without understanding godly identity, right? Because it just won't have the impact. And so I'm going to be teaching you consistently, how does all of this look as a kingdom entrepreneur? See, for me right now, I'm working in multiples and I'm not working 2, 3, 4 times harder. My businesses grow 2, 3, 4 times every year, right? In different areas. Sometimes it's headcount, sometimes it's revenue, sometimes it's profits, sometimes it's just pure numbers. Our businesses are growing in multiples every single year and always have. And I expect it to take place. Not because I'm, some super apostle, not at all, not even close. The reason why it happens is I know my assignment and I'm pursuing it, and the Lord brings those things into my world to make sure I'm well funded enough to go and do my assignment. See, the world will tell you right now you should build a business, make loads and loads of money, and then at the end of your life, give it away, and they call it philanthropy. The kingdom is different, right? The kingdom is give money away at the start, even when it doesn't make sense, and you attract the favor from heaven to be able to grow your business. Okay, so I need to teach you both aspects. We need to go full on practical, right? On how to do click by click and drive the revenue and build the marketing and the sales and the team. But you also will miss out on, the greatest privilege as a believer if you don't know how to walk in the victory that Jesus made on the cross. You've got to have both. So that's a lot for 1 year. And by the way, there's more, and it's a lot more in depth than that. That's just a bit of a thing. But every single thing that I teach you will be taught, and then there'll be time to do it. Right? There's no point. I don't want to fill you with so much information that you go home with more questions than you came with. Every single thing is like learn and do, learn and do, learn and do, and that way I know that you're implementing the things that you need to grow your business. All right, so here's the structure of how it looks over the year, right? So 4 2.5-day live intensives. Just to be super clear, these intensives are on the Gold Coast, okay, of Australia. They're in Surfers Paradise, which means that, yes, you do have to travel to the Gold Coast, which, if you're in the southern states, is probably a real blessing, especially through winter. So I understand that there's an additional cost involved in doing that, and that's part of the trade-off for you. Here's what's super interesting from my perspective. For those people that travel to do the program, whether they be Sydney, North Queensland, Victoria, Adelaide, Perth, we have people from all over come and do the program. The people that travel actually get a better result. They get a better return. And I'm sure it's just because of the bigger cost, they're far more invested. They expect a lot more, and they do a lot more. They implement a lot more. And so no matter where you are, we're going to do everything we can to make sure you execute. But you do have to come to the Gold Coast. Those 2.5 days, each one of them, so the first one is May, the second one is August, the next one is November, and the last one is February next year. The 2.5 days is structured like this. We get in there really early on the Wednesday morning, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday morning, 8:30, and we just get started. And we do a whole day of learning. And then that Wednesday night, we have a formal dinner. This is when the whole crew, we go to one and sometimes two. Sometimes we peel off and go to 2 different restaurants in Surfers, and we'll go and have dinner together, right? We've learned all day. We go and have dinner and a bit of fun together at night. And this is where the good friendships are formed and the fellowship. It's a really beautiful time, actually. And that's when you get to kind of bounce off what you learned in the day and what somebody else learned in the day and what it meant for you. And there's so much value in these conversations that you can have with other people around dinner on the Wednesday night. Then we get in the room Thursday morning at 8 o'clock, a bit earlier, and we have a prayer meeting. And those prayer meetings, by the way, they've been off the charts over the years. We're just led by the Spirit on those. Anyone can pray. This isn't me praying. This is the group praying for the group. And we've had people come forward for healing. We've had healings take place. People set free from depression, drugs, like you name it. Which is madness, right? I just came here to teach Facebook, and all this crazy stuff happens around. On Thursday, when we finish, we have an informal dinner for those people that are staying around in the hotel. We peel off to basically do dinner again, but it's less structured. And then on the Friday, we get in, and there's 2 sessions on Friday. The morning session is when you do your 90-day plan, and the second session is when you do free time. So this free time is basically 90 minutes to 2 hours where you sit there with your computer, with your internet, and working on your business with me and my team in the room to make sure you execute. So you might be setting up Facebook ads, and you might be going through and you have a question. We run over and say, click this, and you keep going. You might be setting up Google AdWords. You might be building web pages, and me and my team are there to kind of say, do this, don't do this. And we can shortcut, right, all the mistakes that you would make if you were left to go and do it on your own devices. So that's the intensives. They're all fully recorded, all right, and given to you immediately afterwards so that you've got those forever. You have 4 accountability calls, right? So every single quarter, we're going to be calling you and saying, hey, where are you up to with your 90-day plan? What do you need help with? What are you going to do from now on? Let's go get it done. We're going to hold you really accountable to making sure you execute on the 90-day plan that you set. Like on top of that, we've got the webinars, like I said, and I'll be bringing experts on and teaching you. And they're just little bite-sized things that you really need to understand. And each one of those will be set with homework at the end and then a date for you to send your homework in by. The quarterly planning is wonderful. So like I said, on the Friday, you're going to create your 90-day plan. But we have a proprietary form for that where you basically, it's a big sheet. It's 13 weeks, 12 weeks of work, 1 review week, and you're going to basically build out your 90-day plan according to your business and whatever you need. And then you're going to set a reward and a punishment at the end of that 90 days. So basically what happens is if you complete your 90-day plan, then you get to have your reward, and you can set that. But if you don't complete it, then you get to execute on your punishment. And if you can't come up with one, we have become very good at coming up with them for you. So, and then we're going to set up it says there private Facebook group, but it's actually going to be a secret Facebook group, which means nothing can ever be found. So basically what happens is the whole group get put into a Facebook group, and then this is where you can ask for prayer, right? So just as an example, the group that are finishing the program now, there was a fellow that this morning did a round of whale boxes, which is a direct mail campaign, which I will show you. And he took a photo of the whale boxes and said, I'm just about to lay hands on these before they get posted out, but I'd love some prayer from the group. And then all these people over the rest of the day were writing in, praying for you, praying for you, praying for you, praying for you, and so forth. Like, you can't get that anywhere else, right? Enlisting the help of your brothers and sisters to help you win. So we use it for that. We use it for surveying, right? Some people says, hey, listen, here's my new website. Can everyone check it out? And people go in, check it out, and put their 2 cents down. So it's really good for getting that kind of like surveying and peer-to-peer smarts. But ultimately what it's for is your accountability on a weekly basis. So every Monday morning, I'm going to be posting inside the Facebook group saying, hey, guys, what are you going to do for the week? What's your commitment? And then you write in there, you're right, I'm going to do this, 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 and everyone writes their plan for the week and what they're going to do. And then on Friday afternoon, I jump back on there and go, right, how did you go? Rate yourself 1 to 10. What did you do? And then people have that feedback loop to say, I didn't do it because of this, or I did it and I crushed it. And that's really cool. That either becomes a wall of fame or a wall of shame, depending on how you're going, right? So that's super, super cool. And then, of course, one of the most intrinsic things that you can have here is that you get to really build some great friendships and support networks. So, over the years, I have literally got to see people that didn't know each other, that joined our program, And then, 12 months, 24 months later, they're going to each other's kids' weddings. They're going on holiday together. It's amazing what happens when you get around a bunch of business people, right? It's great. I mean, I personally love seeing those relationships form, the support networks form, because some of you right now, as you are listening, some of you guys, you might go to churches where you don't feel like you've got a lot of people that you can talk to about business from a kingdom perspective. That's what this becomes for you. It becomes your trusted group of people that really, really get you. And I love that. Here's just a couple of testimonials. I mean, we've got an endless supply, but here's just a couple of things. This is Jerry Van Wyck from the Central Coast in New South Wales. He is just finishing his first year with us and going on to another one. He's got the awesome driving school, right? So they're a driving school and an RTO. And he said, Wes has helped us improve our staffing and get a clear vision. Interestingly, Jerry has probably, following our system, he's probably put on 10, maybe a dozen new team members in the last 12 months. His business has boomed because he took it really, really seriously. He didn't really have much of a vision. Now he's got a clear vision and he's running at it. The thing that he really loves is that 90-day planning session at the end. And he says, look, we really needed to set those clear goals for our business. So that's just a little bit of things that Jerry said. This is Cam and Clarissa Betts. They've got an interesting business. They're a Sparky electrician plus interior design business, all in one, which is greatly unique. And these guys are just amazing couple, fully sold out for the Lord, fully sold out for business. And they said the Elevation program has changed all aspects of their lives. And my love for people, which is hopefully is evident. I would hope it's evident. And they love the fact that the Elevation has allowed them connect with those like-minded business owners. And these guys have made some amazing friends throughout the first year with us and coming back for year two. This guy you may remember from the summit. I had Dave come and teach on Facebook at the summit, and this is what he said. He accelerated our growth through a desert period. So they had hit a bit of a stall in their business. They joined Elevation. I showed them how to get out of that, what they needed, and they raced off and did it. And what he liked so much was the fact that it was practical, and we messed with his head. We basically taught him how to convert leads into high-paying customers, and since then his business is probably twice the size, maybe 2.5 times, and he would 100% recommend it. So that's just a few. I mean, we've got heaps, but there's just a couple for you, just so you can hear a story from the trenches. My Bible says, "Let another person's lips praise you." So rather than me bang on about how good it is, these guys are here to tell you. And this is essentially the plan that you and I are going to work through over the year. This is a one-page, 30,000-foot view of a kingdom business. So down the bottom, we know foundational scripture, your daily rituals, what do you do every day to make sure you're going to win, vision, values, what makes you unique. You need to know what makes you unique, otherwise you're never going to win. Who's your ideal customer? What's the guarantee so that we can risk reversal, get some more customers? What's your SWOT analysis? What are your 10 marketing pillars that you're going to implement? How are you going to test and measure them? What are the critical numbers you need to measure so you can actually get away from the business? What's your assignment in the Lord outside of your business? How much property are you going to own? What shares are you going to own? Who are you discipling in the next generation? And what's the inheritance that you are going to leave behind? You and I are going to build from bottom of that plan to the top of that plan over the 12 months. And you're just going to see that by the end of this, you are going to see that you have a very clear path to having a huge impact in the kingdom of God. So here's your investment, right? You might be wondering, far out, this all looks amazing. How much is it going to cost? Well, it's $397 per month, okay, for 12 months. And if there's second people, or if there's more people from the business that you want to bring, they need to be in the same business. Okay, you can't bring second people from a different business. They've got to be in the same business as you. Some people bring their spouse, some people bring their business partner, some people bring their key team. But it's $397 a month for 12 months, and then a little bit more if you want to bring some additional team members. Now, just to put this in perspective, the closest coaching program like this, which is nowhere near as practical in Australia, is about $1,100 to $1,200 a month. Okay, so we're about a third of the cost, and they don't care about you as much as we do. They're not as practical, and they can't teach you the kingdom of God. All right, so I believe it's an insane price, and we've done that because we want to make it available We want to make it affordable for most. Okay, so $397 a month. But let me just talk into that for a second. I'll tell you what's really interesting about the cost. You're going to spend that money anyway, right? You are going to spend that money that you pay me on either getting information or making mistakes, right? You will make mistakes that I could have prevented, and that's like that money you're going to spend anyway. Like just as an example, just give me an example. Guy comes to me the other day. This is going back a few months in our program. And he goes, hey, it was the last session of the last day, and he had just created a Google ad. And I said to him, don't hit live until and grab me, and I want to check it. And I go over there and I check it, and he did everything right except one small thing, and he didn't change his geography of the ad to the area he was in, and he left it Australia-wide, right? Such an easy mistake. If I hadn't have caught that and he run the ad, he would have spent $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800. And then wondered why Google AdWords wasn't working because it was just set up wrong, and I'm able to get in there. So that's just one example. There are hundreds. People write Seek ads and they're terrible and they can't find stuff. We can save you spending this much money for sure. All right. Now, is it a 12-month commitment? Yes. However, we do allow you to quit the program. It just costs you to do so, right? So I can take you through all those terms and conditions later, but it is a 12-month commitment. There's no point in somebody coming into our world for less. Okay, I'm looking for people that have big vision, long-term vision, staying power, and so forth. So yes, there is a provision to quit the program. For example, some people come to us and they're like, they do 6 months with us and they go, actually, I've realized I don't want to do this anymore, and I'm going to sell my business. And so we have a provision for them to get out. Okay, there is exit fees, but we have a provision for them to get out, and so forth. So yes, you're not locked in terms of a contract. There is an out clause. But I don't want you to be thinking like that. I want you to be thinking, I'm in 12 months. It's going to take me to learn how to run a business incredibly well. So here's the 4 main reasons to join the program. Right. The first one is you need to learn the business strategies you need. Right. That's obvious, right? The number one reason you would come and do Business Elevation is you need more knowledge than you've got right now. You need every bit of information you can to multiply your chances of success. Right, that's a given. The second one, though, is you need to be accountable to your coach. No sporting team in the world would go out to the world and say, okay, we're gonna go this year without a coach, right? No sporting team would do that. I don't know why business people think that would be a good idea, right? Having somebody on your team that holds you accountable to being your best is gonna get the best from you. The third thing is it's forced time out of your business. So many of you are like the hamster on the wheel, right? And you're running, and that's great. You need to be producing results. But what Business Elevation does is it drags you out of your environment for 3 days, or if you need to travel, and it forces you to work on your business. At least for that period of time, it forces you to work on your business. And if you don't and you get caught as a hamster on the wheel, you will not build a great business because you don't get a way to work on it. You're always getting caught working in it, and you can't build it when you're in it. And the last reason is you need to get around a group of like-minded believers who are championing you, who have got your back, who are praying for you and want your success as much as you do. Right? They are the 4 main reasons. So I guess from here, right, you'll be in one of 3 places right now. You will either have heard everything I've said and you will think, okay, I've heard it and it's not for me. If that's you, firstly, I want to say thanks for sitting through the webinar and getting to this point. I fully appreciate that you heard me out and made a smart decision for you. So if that's you, then I fully appreciate that and respect your decision. If this is not right for you, I'm all good with that. If you're thinking I'll do this another year, then it won't be around in another year. The program will not look like this in 12 months. This is probably the last intake at such an affordable price. So just bear that in mind as you make a decision. Or the other group is you might be sitting there and you're thinking, it all sounds good, but I've got some questions. Perfect. We can work with those. Or the third group is you're sitting there and you're like, this sounds great. I'm ready to enroll. Okay. So if that's the case, then this is what you will do. If you want to enroll and find out more, you go to businessgreenhouse.com.au/elevation. That's got all the information, a really fun video, and then you can straight in and enroll. Or if you've got questions, then here's the email that you need to send those to. Send them directly to me at wes@weshone.com using the email on your screen. Now, please, I'm not going to try and make this really easy for you, okay? I'm not interested in chasing down somebody who's not really very interested in doing the program, right? I only want, if I'm more interested in your business than you are, then we have a problem at the start, right? So I'm leaving it to you to either go to the webpage, find out, enroll, or send me an email, and then I'll organize a time with you. We'll have a quick chat, and we'll check any questions you've got, and I can run through those with you and finish them off. But if you've got a question, you can literally go to the question box now, and I am going to stay on and answer those for you. So if you go to the question box, type in a question, it will come up on my screen, and I will see it. All right, so here's a question. How many people in each program? This year, we're actually going to run the smallest group for a long time. So last year we had 77. This year, 50, maybe, I don't know, maybe 52, 3, 4. I don't know the final number, but around 50 is where we will have. And, you know, we did 77 last year, and this year I'm going to be doing 50 something with more team around me. I've invested in team in the last 12 months to make sure that we can deliver even higher quality. That I absolutely know that, and with a group of 50, we can absolutely go deep enough to make sure it delivers. So it's not a crazy group, right? It's not Tony Robbins 10,000. It's literally just a small group of 50 that we're going to walk with and invest in. Hi, Wes. I'm very busy at the moment, and I'm willing to enroll around June. Is this possible? Unfortunately not, right? We only do one intake a year. And so the reason why I'm doing this webinar is because we've never marketed the program to our email list outside of our events. But what happens is people come to us in June and August and September and October, and they say, right, I want to do some business coaching with you. And we're like, sorry, we only do one intake every single April, right? So they're literally, unfortunately, there isn't. And my reason for not doing a program that you can join ongoing is it's better for you. If I'm doing all my promotion in 1 month, I'm filling a group in 1 month, that gives me 11 months to never have to worry about selling again and focusing on you and your results. So the short answer is this. It's now or never. I'm sorry. We start in April. April is our first webinar, and May is our first live training where we get together. So another question, when does it start? Starts in April. So, hey, Wes, do you know the dates for the get-together weekends in May, August, November, and February? Yes, I do. So if you send me an email, then I can send you all of those dates. Do you have a qualification round to be chosen? So when you enroll, you actually fill in a bit of a questionnaire, and on the Elevation website. So on that URL, you can see on screen, and that tells me a bit about your business and what's working well and what isn't. We certainly have a qualification process in terms of there are certain businesses that I never want to help, right? So, you know, adult stores, cigarette, liquors, bars, clubs, I'm just not interested, right? They're not inherently evil, some of those, but I'm just not interested in helping them multiply, right? So we certainly have businesses that I'll never go near. In terms of people, like, we certainly don't qualify by size, because I've had people that have literally started their business one day. And in fact, I had somebody, one of my greatest success stories, he didn't even own the business for 6 months. He did the program for 6 months before he even owned the business. He worked in it, and then he bought it, and then because he had 6 months, basically catapulted out of the sky because he had everything ready. So we have people that start a business and then join straight away. And I love it when it's really early stage, because I can get it before you make a bunch of mistakes. So we will have qualification around there, and sometimes we see things in our questionnaire that are concern. So we chat with people, and it either is a concern or it isn't. Yes, this is on the Gold Coast. The online trainings and the coaching and those sort of things are not, obviously, but the intensives are on the Gold Coast, and nothing gets me more excited than dragging you out of your environment up into mine so that I can invest in you. And so that's good. And the first session, the first training session on the Gold Coast is the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of May, but there's a webinar before that in April. What nights are the webinars, and are they recorded? That's a really good question. Craig's listening. He can tell me what nights the webinars are. But yes, they're recorded. Tuesday. So they're Tuesday late afternoon. Okay, so they're not night, they're late afternoon, and everything is recorded. And we do that, like all the live trainings are recorded, all the webinars are recorded. You can record your coaching calls. We do that because the information, you can come and revisit it later and many, many times. As I'm learning stuff, I literally have to learn things, hear things many times. What if I can't make it live? Can I stay in the program? Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, as crazy as it sounds, every single year we have people that join our program and never turn up to a live event. They're happy to get the recordings. That could be because they live in remote Australia and they just think, oh, well, there's nothing available to them in their towns. So they do that. And some, here's what's interesting. Most people miss at least one live because life gets in the way, right? Kids are sick, holidays booked, whatever. So that's why we record it all, to make sure that you have got it forever. Right, so if you've got a question, put it in the question box now and I will answer that. Otherwise, I will wrap it up. Does it include hotel accommodation? No. So when you pay me, the only thing you're paying for, I mean, if I paid for your accommodation, right, I'd be going backwards with $397. So no, you cover your travel, you cover your accommodation, you cover your food. But what we've done is we have organised a discount at the hotel, and we can also guide you in some other options, right? So we're meeting in the beautiful Q1, the really tall building in Surfers, and so we've got a deal with the accommodation there. But literally across the road at the Voco is another hotel that's a lot cheaper. And then there's some Airbnb options around town where you could probably get something even cheaper again. So we can help you through all of that when you're from out of town. But we have the inside knowledge and we'll make that available when people enroll. Are there any age restrictions? My son is 16. You know what? No, there's definitely not. 16 would be fine. I'd be worried a bit younger, just because of the vibe in the room. I don't really know how to put a word on that, but he'd be fine. And so 16 would be fine, and but somebody younger, I would have a bit of a question mark on the culture fit. What's the deadline to join up? I'll close this group off in the next week. Okay. So in the next week, so we've got the Gold Coast Summit starting this Friday, Saturday, and so we've already got 30% of the group filled after 2 events, and we haven't even done our follow up. We've got this webinar, we've got the Gold Coast big event, we've got Adelaide the week after, we've got our general ads. So it's about a week, maybe even 8 days or something, and then we will close off the group and then roll our sleeves up and work with the group and build their businesses. So you got about a week. But if you've got questions, then you need to email me sooner. All right, gang. Well, I'm going to finish up by saying this. I'm looking for people that really want to grow a business and take it seriously. So if that's you, then jump over to businessgreenhouse.com.au/elevation and read the information and go and get enrolled. If you've got questions, then I'm going to leave it for you to send me an email, because I don't want to chase you, to wes@weshone.com. And it's going to be an absolutely amazing year. I can't wait to get me and my team invested in you and your business, and we're going to grow that thing, and we're going to make it more profitable and more influential, and you'll be proud that your business is having an impact on the kingdom of God. Well, gang, that's enough from me. You guys have been amazing. If you have a question, send it to wes@weshone.com. I can see some of you have already signed up as this webinar has been going on. So bless you guys. Can't wait to work with you. Love ya. Speak to you soon.